What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys had a absolutely incredible weekend. You guys got piling in early. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you, Bill, Brad, Brian, Carlos. Good morning. We got Cindy in the house. Good morning, Corey, Jay, Jeff, Lauren, Mike, Peter, Shane, all my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. We got Clarice, all my lurkers in the background of YouTube, not commenting, not saying nothing. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys did some fun things. Let me know if you guys got any crazy stories from the weekend, if you guys did anything out of the ordinary or just chilled out, relaxed. But we got Spy. Let's look at the weekly since we do have a new week. News wise, we're relatively slow today. So not a lot happening in the YouTube chat. I said waiting for NVDA earnings, which we get the report Wednesday after the bell for NVIDIA. We do have some companies. I think Palo Alto reports today after the bell. There'll be some additional companies today, tomorrow. But I think the big one that we're just waiting for, the next big catalyst, is NVIDIA to keep the AI chat alive, or do we die from here? I still got my rando target on Spy 538.88. So we'll see if we get anywhere close to that from some maybe run up into earnings. I don't know. We'll see. But Spy is right now looking pretty decent. We broke through. We gave a nice little close past that previous pivot. If we get any type of a pullback, this would be our fourth week bullish in a row, probably coming down to this 523.89 zone would be a decent retest spot, just kind of retesting that last breakout spot before we kind of go again. So if we get any type of pullback, I'm watching that zone pretty closely on the daily chart. A little bit of a gap up. It is a retest gap. We got two levels of support right below us. So this would be somewhere in 529. M Sky says, was on the edge of the green when Xander won a PGA. He went to PGA. That's fun. That's fun. That's a not too often experience. It's pretty cool. We got 529.19, we'll say. Somewhere in that zone would be our first little support. The next one down, 528.87. After that, it starts to get a little scary. We'd probably have the candle close, the low of Friday, I should say, would be the next little pivot, see if we can hang on. But there's not really a lot of volume, and then probably back into this gap up candle, which that would take us into 525.76. Otherwise, not really any levels of supports, just a couple psychological spots of, hey, we bounced there before type situations. We do have resistance right above us, 529.89. So if we're going to get any further momentum to the bull side, we're going to have to get above that, and then we will have to retest this or probably re-struggle a little bit at 531.50, just where that top of that Thursday candle was. But we definitely have a little bit of range at open. I'm thinking we could get a little pullback with that resistance there. I'm not sure how far we want to go. I don't see anything bearish yet. But like I said, just kind of waiting for Wednesday, which is a long wait in the market. But I think that's the next big catalyst we have, unless we get some kind of black swan or World War III or some craziness that breaks out before then. I think we're bringing back a couple of viruses, that was fun. I saw over the weekend. I don't even know which ones, but we got a couple more out there. We could get some meme pumps. I don't know. I don't know how the meme pumps play out. Yeah, the election's coming, but we got definitely NVIDIA earnings before before the elections. We still got like 5 months until elections. Oh, so yeah. Election time it is a good time to bring back the viruses. Yeah. Actually, everyone's like, oh, we gotta get the shots, we gotta get the jabs, we gotta get boosters, we gotta get all the vaccinations. All you have to do is just delay your elections, and then that works more effectively. I think it's crazy. It's crazy how it works. The Qs. So the Qs actually closed as a red candle. Again, if we want to recreate this entire chart, actually, let me move this over so I can get to my pen a lot quicker. All right, we got this candle opens from here. We got the close down here. This is the worst drawing ever, but essentially we got a high wave candle for the last 2 days, and so we have a little bit of indecision. I'd look for this to be the bottom of my range, just to be the top. Obviously, if we start to break out in either of those directions, we probably have some more room ahead of us. And especially if we're getting a close below below the spot or above the spot. Again, we still have maybe like a little support here, but I don't really have anything until my next VPOC down, realistically, which I think that would be a little bit more to the bearish side if we get down there. So if we are able to get all the way down to, let's see what price that is, 446.08 on the Qs. I'm kind of thinking, well, now we're below that candle. We probably have a little bit more room to go, and I have to start looking into like this 442.95 zone. So I think this one probably ends up getting taken out if this candle gets taken out. But for right now, we're just essentially sitting in this high wave indecision. Still got some bullish edge with the last pop, and we had 2 days of just kind of resting on the Q. So we'll see. But decent resistance. We got 2 days of resistance from Thursday and Wednesday of last week. So somewhere in the 452.88 zone. We're gonna have to break out of that to give us a little bit further bullish edge. Otherwise, we're just kind of chopping. And then to the downside, we're gonna have to get some kind of candles to start closing below 451.66 to give us more edge to the bear case. But right now, we're just hanging out. Are we still playing that? Uh, the memes. It depends. If we're looking at, let's go to TLT first, and then we'll pull up GME and then FFIE. I think AMC. I think is kind of done. I think GameStop probably more to the done side. Maybe I, if we do get a squeeze, there was some huge volatility in 2020 with GameStop, where there would be some crazy down days. The story is very different this year on this time around. So I don't know. Maybe we do see some kind of pushes up to like 30, something like that. We could still see some wild moves, but essentially, I don't think we get that huge run. TLT though, so that one is gapping down. So bonds so far not loving life, and this is a little bit of a bearish retest gap. We know that these gaps don't really move technically like some of the other stocks, but look for some of the support. We still got around $90.88. That would be a little pullback, and we'll go up there. What is the indicator that gives you the pre-market previous close line you have? Pre-market previous close line. I'm not sure what that means exactly. The orange. Yeah, so that's intraday. You're talking about the VPOC still. Yep. And by the way, yeah, if you guys have questions, we don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of news happening. But yeah, if you go into not even TLT, let's go into like we'll talk about GameStop next. We'll go into that one. I don't even see it on my chart right now. Let's see. So that would be in the sessions volume profile, if we're talking about the same thing. Once you go into settings, there should be a spot. Yeah, so developing VPOC. I don't even know why it's not in my chart. Kind of almost got reset. So we'll just add that. But you want this one clicked right here, developing VPOC. And then you're only going to see it on the smaller time frames. So you're going to see it like here. I should make that up. I should make that line a little thicker, but these were all the previous VPOC lines. Yep. Those lines on your daily chart. So on the daily chart, that setting won't really actually will still show up, but it's just not as effective because obviously you see there's just not as much movement, I guess. So like once a day closes, it closes. So it could still be there, like right here, but you could also just see where the candles close. So I think it's more important for the intraday type moves more than anything else. Does that make sense? Is that the question you're asking? GameStop really has to hang on to this $20 level. We kind of came down. We did close the gap on Friday for GameStop. So there's some hope for the Bulls, but they got to get, I mean, the Gorillas really got to get, I don't know if they had any meetings over the weekend, get on the same page, but they really got to start. If we're going to squeeze, You gotta start unifying and buying where the bigger difference is GameStop last week. Also, AMC came out. They sold more shares against they used that higher price to get more money for themselves, throwing some more shares out to the market. That's typically bearish. Can we still squeeze? Yeah, but it's not as likely, I think. So the GameStop one might be done. I still got some shares. I'm just gonna keep selling covered calls on them until I get taken away. So and I'm not in there too heavy. So I'm okay if GameStop goes to zero, I'll be fine. I'm not gonna cry about it. I don't think we go to zero though. So again, it's not a I I don't think it's like a all in type situation on GameStop. The good news is we did have VPOC, so that came in at 21.15. We got the close there. We think we got a close above that on Friday. So that is telling us we are maybe a little bit more bullish here. If we could get a good run up, we're probably looking for 29.40. This is really that next resistance that comes in, so we'll see if we get up into that zone. Um, but yeah, I've got my price pretty low at this point, and I'm just looking to eventually get free shares of GameStop and then just let it do its thing. Is kind of my plan on it. Ronan Kitty left with ET over the weekend. I haven't seen his Friday ones. I didn't see his Friday ones. FFIE. So this would be the other short squeeze. If this short squeeze story is going to still happen, it definitely squeezed on Friday. We got up to, I think, 390 was the high. Yeah, so the high was 390 on this one. Again, be careful on all these stocks. The valuation, the price doesn't match valuations on a lot of these. But Kui continues to see some squeeze. We got a nice gap up here. We obviously have that looks like the 100 coming in. I believe that's the 100 on daily. Yeah, that's the 100. So we got the 100 sitting somewhere right around $2.50, we'll call it. Somewhere in that range, but we are having a gap and go. People are going to go back to the well and dip again, but again, be very careful. As easy as it could be to get back to 390, it's just easy to get back to 7 cents. So play the momentum. If you're playing any of these things, just kind of like what I'm doing with GameStop, almost expect to lose exactly whatever you put into it. So don't go too heavy in these things. The beauty about these things, the short squeezes, you don't really need a lot of money. Like if it's going to short squeeze, I know everyone's like, oh, man, if I put $500 in, how much is that going to get me? And that's kind of the wrong thinking on it. The wrong thinking is like, hey, man, I have an extra $500. I don't mind losing, but you don't need a lot of money to make a lot. Like if the squeeze happens again, whether it's GameStop, AMC, FFIE, I would even throw Carvana into the categories. But what was the other ones? Is it Beyond? A bunch of those names. If they want to run it up, you don't need a lot to make a decent amount of money, right? But if you're like, hey, I can make this crazy life changing money if I put a $10,000, and maybe $10,000 is nothing to you, but if you lose $10,000 and it is meaningful to you, which I would assume to anybody, like, hey, $10,000, because you're trying to make $500,000, it could happen, but there's a good chance that you probably lose. So be careful with any of these pushes. 10K stings, yeah. And these aren't the ones I would do the 10K challenge on. Just saying. We got Oxy from Joe. We were looking at this one on, was it Thursday or Friday? One of those 2 days. But yeah, we're like, hey, if we were to play this, there's two spots we would be looking. One, which would be aggressive, and I think we still stayed in if you guys took that one. I don't have any positions in Oxy. And then obviously the more safer one would be throwing some kind of stop around here, 61.97. So that one we didn't even get close to, but pretty good close right above that red candle. Looks definitely like we are consolidating. I do have a higher volume zone somewhere around 63, 61. So we'll see if we can get some kind of closing above there. What is appealing about this chart though is kind of the low of this candle. We have that hammer off that 200 and it is right at the 618. So is it worth a swing trade for potential R? Yeah, I think so. I kind of like the chart. Obviously, we're bullish. You got Buffett backing it up. And anytime we've been kind of in these ranges, he has been buying it again. He's still holding according to the last report that he put out. So we'll see what happens on this one. But you do have some resistance right above you, 63.61. Otherwise, this is some consolidation and really probably any close, I guess, above this one is your confirmation. So 63.94, but I really want, I'm looking a little bit lower, 63.62, somewhere in that zone. But Oxy still looks good, and maybe we could see a little bit of a push today. But right now, I don't have too much edge. The only thing today at open, at least, that I could say, hey, there's a shot, is we are above that VPOC. So see if you get a little pullback. See if we can hold this 63.43 zone, and if we could, maybe get some follow through today. AMD is another one like DJ Khaled, another one. Let me get these lines off the chart. Uh, Great bounce spot. So both Oxy and AMD, both of them came right down to the 200. We got a good bounce off of it. We also have, and I'm the 618 using kind of the lows of this move to the highs of that last crazy move. We've had a heck of a pullback on this thing. And then on the daily, we have a beautiful looking inverted head and shoulders. So you got a couple technicals that say that this thing can go higher, but we depend on NVIDIA. We're going to have to depend on NVIDIA, which pre-earnings, so like today, tomorrow, even Wednesday during the day, maybe you see that follow through if we get that run up into NVIDIA earnings, but we'll go to NVIDIA next. It's already kind of running. This one is gapping up from Friday as well, so a little bit of gainer. First spot of resistance on this one is about 166.69, and then where I would get a little worried is I have huge resistance right here. We almost hit the high of that one. Looks like we came in somewhere around 169.52. The higher end of that volume takes me to about 170.51. You also got psychological whole number of 170. And then you have this is a red candle, but this is a retest candle as well, right? So I think the momentum is still bullish, but you did put in 1, 2, 3, and then this day kind of actually closed higher. So I'd almost go 4 days bullish without any real pullback into the neckline. Oops, I got off my chart. There we go. So neckline would be somewhere about here, and we haven't really had that retest of the neckline yet. So this could be a pop into resistance, come back down. I think there's a lot of bulls probably waiting somewhere just under 156, maybe sitting 155, something like that. That's a better spot if you're not in it. But if you're in it, it looks good, but I would also be prepared just mentally for some kind of a pullback just in case. All right, let me see what else we got. So let's go to NVIDIA next. NVIDIA was running up this morning, so we'll see if that one continues. So same thing, inside day from Friday. So we're losing a little bit of edge. Resistance is slightly above us, 944.53. They came in with a slew of upgrades today. So a lot of people was upgrading NVIDIA. I think one target was like 1035, something like that. The other one was like 980 or some craziness. But there was a few upgrades. I'm not sure where the actual report is. Let's see if they say who's upgrading them. Yep, not on that one. Here's what NVIDIA Q1 earnings must deliver to please shareholders. They don't, honestly, most shareholders don't care what NVIDIA says. Well, they just want the price higher. That's all. You can say anything you want as long as the price goes higher. They don't care. They don't care. All right, let's see. We got Wix and JBL. Wix, interesting little potential bull flag. Oh, where's this? Pre-market is on a gap up. Oh, they had earnings too. Okay. So it looks like Wix came in, they beat by 26 cents a share by 25%, more than expected. Then surprise revenue beat was 1.86 million. So fairly good report there. This is a good looking gap. I'm trying to find some kind of resistance on this one. I mean, we're up a lot though. That's the only thing. Maybe see if we get a little pullback. We're starting to come in with like 153.47 is my first resistance. 155, I would assume, is some kind of psychological whole number. And then we got 155.56 all the way up to like 160. My biggest problem is this one might have already made a bigger move than I'd want. But I think it would be fair to say buying the pullbacks on this one would make sense. Let me check the volume zones on the side real quick. Hold on. Where are they? Why is my there we go. That's on there. Oh yeah, we're just above that. Let's try to go to the weekly. All right, so on a weekly basis, not bad. I got my resistance around 156.64, and then the last shot that the Bears have to try to hold this thing back is about 163.77. After that, I don't really have much until like this 193, 199 zone, and then past that we got 215. The bigger volume of resistance is all the way back to 251. So on a longer term basis, maybe. Yep, this would be a retest on a weekly as well. See if this one wants to fade. I don't know if I want to go bullish out of the gate. If I could get it in somewhere around 140-ish, I definitely increase that risk to reward on this trade. But it does have, in a little longer term sense, some decent amount of room to the higher side. Let me get Wix up on the list. I don't know if I'm day trading it today, but I'm definitely going to watch it if it pulls back. Pull back a little bit, Wix. All right, we got JBL. Jabil. I don't know. I don't think I know this company. But this one has got a little bit of a gap down. This is a retest gap. You've had a decent amount of push to the lower side over a pretty longer time. The support comes in. We're at that volume zone. I think this one's probably going to be a fade, but I don't think I would start fading this one yet. To the higher side, I'd probably be looking at see if we get down to like this 108 spot first, 108.06. And then I think the better spot for us to try to hold is somewhere around 105.96. So I'd actually even set an alert there for this one. Let's add an alert just so we have a idea. Other bigger problem on this one too, if we are going to try to play some kind of a bounce, we're below that 200. That's not good. And at open, we're below this big breakout candle. So every single person from this earnings, which is back in October, if they held and did not sell, they're starting to lose on their position. If the bears come in and start pushing this thing, I'd say the last hope for the bulls here is about 103. We start closing under that. We have nothing really holding us back on this one until about $83. So they could be in some trouble. I have no idea what the fundamentals are on this one. So be careful. And we got earnings on the 20. No, we got earnings on June 13th. So we got some time. ZM. Zoom. I say zoom. May 20th earnings. Did they come out already? After the bell. So we got Zoom earnings tonight. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Last few earnings have been positive. They're pretty decent at beating expectations, which is good. The stock has been falling as well. They probably don't have much of a bar to break. And you do have some decent support on this one, down to like 59. We'll call it 60. Oh, no, we'll just call it 59. So you got 59 is a key support on this one. So you don't want to see after earnings that thing gets taken out. Like I said, they're down after a lot of consecutive beats. So my guess is the valuation is probably like the stock price hasn't really found a real support yet to really match the company value after this monstrosity of a run up. That was more COVID. That was the COVID run up. Otherwise, yeah, you have really good support if you want to take a shot at it. It's got a very low bar. That's gonna be a fun one, actually. Probably after earnings, I'm gonna look into this one, and maybe I do play this one after earnings, or prior to earnings. We could also play it after too. Let the report come out, start getting some good move. We might have an opportunity after the bell to play this one. All right. Yeah, all right. We got Hood. Hood with a fantastic run up. Was that on Friday? I think so. Great breakout candle. Volume zone slightly under. So the bad news for Hood is it did hit its kind of bigger resistance that came in from March 28th. And we are opening underneath it. I'm looking probably more for a fade lower on this one. Or at least I wouldn't be too bullish until we start closing above 20 again. Not necessarily thinking that this thing goes bearish from here, but I would think that at this resistance, which is a huge one, if we start to break out of that, there's not a lot holding us back. Bigger targets on this one. If we're looking at the weekly, I think I have like $38, $39 would be kind of the next pivot break. Yeah, there's nothing really stopping us to the higher side to like 34, 35. So this $20 range is going to be huge. So I think if we could get a couple of rest days on this one, I'd be looking. But watch that $20 move. We could start getting well, $20, but yeah, anything above like maybe even like 2010 at this point. So we get above 2010, you can see some more continuation on this one. I think so. GME, I think after hours, was it Friday? They were starting to move up to like $24, $25, I think. And then Robinhood started halting the stock and then just making it not tradable. So I think you got some of the apes that are still kind of mad and salty at Robinhood, I'm assuming. All right, Baba, we got BABA. So again, fantastic week last week. We did just run from 77.74 all the way up to $90.62. We are at a little bit of support. I think the bottom probably is in on Baba. If I was to take a stab at that, but no, Black Swan, something like that. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. We are opening right at that little support zone. So 87.27. Watch that spot if we start to break that down. The next spot of some kind of support about 86.75. But I think if we get a bigger pullback, probably more bulls sitting around $84.60. Everybody out on YouTube land, you guys are absolutely incredible. If you have not done so already, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place.